Glad to know you're still with us. Now let's talk about retirement planning, which is a multi-step process that evolves over time. Now, to have a comfortable, secure, and fun retirement, you need to build the financial cushion that will fund it all. Retirement planning starts with thinking about your retirement goals and how long you have to meet them. Now, joining us this morning is Charles Fakroha, to educate us on different types of retirement plans. He is a financial analyst and business expert. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me, Bolale.
Good to have you.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of Nigerians will tell you, I'm trying to make ends meet, put food on the table, my salary is not enough. And now you're talking about retirement planning. Where would that come from?
That's a very good question on how to start it, the discussion. You see, no matter what you do, no matter how much you earn, it will never be enough. And I normally say 93% of well-educated adults get to the age of 65 without any significant asset to show for it. But during their lifetime, they have earned so much money. But because of not planning for their future retirement, they have spent all their money. Now, it's a very tricky question to say, my take home does not take me home. Yes, it will not take you home. But it is you that will be consciously preparing for that your future. You must take your financial destiny into your hands. The government cannot do it. Your employers cannot do it. They will do their own part, but it's now left for you. Take, for example, the taxpayer, the tax collector, that is government. If you are paid as low as even 40,000 naira, the government has a percentage they collect. And before that money gets to you, what happened? They have collected. So we are also now saying, for you to plan for your retirement, before that your money, no matter how small it is, gets to you, make sure you have an arrangement where a certain percentage has been removed to pay to fund your retirement.
So how does it happen? How does it work?
Okay, there are so many schemes. Yes. Now, with the government coming to realize that at old age, there is a problem. People don't prepare for their retirement. Now, government came with a compulsory policy, Pension Reform Act of 2004. It's a law that you as the employee, you have a certain percentage, maybe about 10%. Then your employer, maybe another 10%. And that money should be remitted to the pension fund administrators, as the case may be. They are now expected to manage your funds. By the time you get to maybe retirement, you can now approach them and say, I have retired now. Then they will now discuss with you and say, okay, we're going to pay you a lump sum, first of all. Then after some time, we'll pay what they call an annuity. That is, every month, this is the amount of money they will be paying you. So it will seem as if you are still working. That is on the government side. However, we have said that is not probably enough. So you have to do your own retirement plan.
Okay, talking about retirement plan, as Bola said,
yes,
people are engrossed in trying to earn a living, make ends meet. There's so many responsibilities, from your immediate family to extended family. You still have your parents and what have you, especially for those who are married. So
even your married ones too.
So for all of these responsibilities and bills and all of that,
yes,
what are the factors a worker should put into consideration when planning the the various retirement schemes you've mentioned?
Good. Your question is multifaceted, and I'm going to look at it from this angle.
Okay.
The person who wake up at 5, goes to work 8 to 6 or 8 to 5, as the case may be, 37 days a week, or 5 days a week. Of course, there are some places 5 days a week, then 30 days or whatever in a month. It's just you, and your employer is paying you, only you. So why will your salary becomes for community development? Why would your salary become for your relations? It's you. It's now left. It's now left for you as that slave that has worked. No matter the situation, we have said the first person you have to pay is yourself. You pay yourself first, then you make budget for those other persons.
Okay, let me just interrupt there.
Okay.
I mean, because again, we're speaking from the perspective of the average Nigerian who, as I said, is probably married, has an immediate family,
of course,
and has aged ones. Now, some people are lucky, they have several siblings, so a little penny can amount to something substantial that they give their parents on a monthly basis. But let's presume this individual is the only child.
Yes.
And has to fend for the parents.
His own immediate family, yes.
As well as his own immediate family, probably a child or two.
Even 4, sir.
Let's even leave it as 2, so a family of 4, and he has to cater for his immediate family. When I say extended family, I'm not even talking about cousins or whatever, but I'm just putting it as immediate family. No, let's just even restrict it to immediate family as well as parents who are aged. When you consider all of that, coupled with utility bills, feeding and all of that.
Yes.
These individuals will tell you, I'm talking about those who are on the average, you know what I'm talking about, that they barely even have 2,000 naira left to feed when they deduct transportation and all of that. So for all of this, I understand the place of multiple streams of income, but for all of these, for people who have just one source of income, how can they, plan for retirement?
Even that one source of income is not even guaranteed.
Exactly.
There are times maybe the employers can even decide to owe them. Or the government will say, well, maybe we have seen government agency owing them. Yes, these are realities. And for any person planning for his financial future, it's not a 100-meter dash, it's a marathon. There are some months, obviously, you might not be able to save, while there are some months you'll be able to save. But the most important thing, despite all your challenges, despite all your commitment, there's something I advised a young man sometime, and the family members were against me. I said, have what we call an envelope budget. Okay. You could have, for feeding, you have an envelope, you put the money inside. You could have for utility, you put the money inside. You could also have for, of course, as a young man, on Fridays, you want to do one or two things. You have that envelope too. Okay. Then in-law one, you have envelope for in-law one. You have envelope for, we call it envelope technique. Okay. And you prepare. You don't prepare it, you prepare before your salary comes. Okay. You already have the envelopes, you have written all the names, so and the amount that you can afford. Okay. Because they are not going to force you. What you think you can afford, and you put there. So let's imagine that, of course, you have to discuss with your wife. So let her manage the budget for feeding. Let her manage it. Over time you give an estimate of what can take you reasonably. Yes. Of course, none of us eats thrice a day any longer. It's twice.
Well, that's relative.
That's relative.
It's twice. Yeah. And at the same time, you need to manage certain things. If they say plantain is very cost now, so what
everything is expensive.
What do? You cannot afford that plantain. You could look for alternatives. I don't used to eat indomie before. I said, I don't like this. But because of the situation, with 300 naira, they can prepare indomie and I will eat. And I'm so happy that my boy likes it very well. So you can see, you need to, if you normally go to those kind of restaurant that, yes, those kind of restaurant that, 5,000 a plate. My brother, my sister, you have to stop going to that place. Okay? So let's imagine now, in-law one comes. You look at your envelope, that envelope you have set for your in-law. You give. In-law 2 comes, you give. If in-law 3 comes and there's no money in that in-law's envelope and budget, what do? There's nothing. You tell him next month. It's as simple. You have to be disciplined. It's as simple as that.
So at what stage, when is the appropriate time to start making plans, your retirement plans?
Good. I think we have said this in, the last program or so. The best time to start for your retirement is the very first day you are given your letter of employment.
Before collecting the salary?
Yes. You start planning that I am going to spend in my working life 20 years, 25 years, 35 years. And this thing has been very practical because the earlier you start, the better for you. All the challenges will come. The issues will come up. Inflation will go up. Things will be difficult. But if you have started a plan and you are getting used to that plan in terms of those habits, when you cultivate an habit, it becomes something that If any month you don't save, just consider that you are already consuming your future income.
But looking at all of these retirement plans, I know investments is one major way
Yes, we are coming there.
you know, planning. And a lot of people talk about some investments that every investment is actually affected by the dollar rate.
Of course,
and so after you've planned and then dollar shoots up and your money becomes, you know, smaller than what you put in there, isn't that going to affect the plan?
Yes, of course. For every plan that you have, there are factors that you can control. There are factors you cannot control. And like we always say, not being a preacher, when we talk to people about retirement, we said the God factor is also there. So whatever plan, because they say those who fail to plan have already planned to fail. So you do your plan and you leave the rest.
Okay.
It's as simple as that. Even if you maybe even you're a farmer, you have planted so well, you're expecting a very bumper harvest, something can happen to that your farm. Disease can affect your crops or your animals, or of course because of insecurity, those bandits can come and scatter your farm. But you have planned and you're expecting a bumper harvest. The same with retirement planning, but that will not make you to stop from planning. If one investment has gone bad, it does not mean that you are going to stop. What we are saying is be conscious about what you are doing. Beginning to imagine, set your goal. How do you want to live when you retire? Again, retirement is not the end of life. People start new career.
Because I was going to say that different people retire at different ages.
Of course, at different ages, yes. Some people can say they want to retire at 40. Some will say
40.
50.
Wow, that's pretty.
Yes. Some will say, of course, we know someone who retired at 47. Yes, the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, he retired at 40, yes, 47. The wife retired at 37. And they started a new career. Because you don't think that when you retire that's the end, you're not going to work again. No. So you can see retirement as another phase of your life.
Okay,
yes.
So take us through, you know, the various factors one should consider when planning retirement. You've said it should begin from the first day you get your employment letter.
Yes.
So from that day, you know, onward till the retirement comes, what are the various factors one should put into consideration when planning retirement?
Start early, which we have agreed.
Okay.
Then talk to financial experts. I'm not saying they do everything, but talk to them. Then your habits. Your habit is key. If you start a retirement savings plan, make sure you consistently follow up. Not that you start a plan and you have 1 or 2 issues, you run and... But the first thing, your company's retirement planning, that is your first step. That's what they call RSA, Retirement Savings Plan. Make sure you enroll in that plan, have your PFA, and you start to contribute at that early stage. That's what you should do first of all, because we don't expect you to have so much money to do other investments. Now, also have a savings account where you will save what you are paying yourself. You know, it's so funny that the government will pay themselves first from your money, as if they're the one that worked for you. Then, before you know that, that's the tax they have taken. Then, of course, if you are religious, you are spiritual, you also have to pay tithe or whatever name you, or support a favorite charity, depending on your belief. Now, those 2 persons have taken. Is it not logical that the next person should be yourself? And like I said, paying yourself is not the money you go and spend with some friends in Jeffinic restaurant or have a good time. Because if you do that, you are paying those people. If you pay your dry cleaner, you go and dry clean your suit, you are paying the dry cleaner. You buy a new suit for yourself, it is the fashion designer you are paying. Because there is a markup on those things you are buying. So the one you now pay yourself, apart from your retirement savings plan, it is the one you set aside. Try to create an emergency fund. And we say for 6 months, you should have your monthly salary. Let's take you receive 50,000 naira in a month. Then 50 times 6, that's about 300,000. You should be able to save that 600,000 in an account. You can call it whatever name, investment account.
The whole salary?
On a monthly basis now.
You saved the 50,000?
No, not the 50,000.
How much?
Depending on what you can afford.
Okay.
But we have advised minimum 10%.
Okay, 5,000.
5,000 naira. That's after government have taken their tax. So after you have paid your tithes, you know, the next person should be yourself. 5,000 naira, and let it continue to. And you do that consistently. An account that can even yield you some interest. So over a period of time, you must have saved some amount of money. So we are saying, when you now save 6 months of your normal monthly salary, you have created an emergency fund, and it is there. It's after that time you can now begin to think of other investments you can do. And like you have said, other investment can be you buy shares in a company. If you've done your own work, that company is doing so well, then you could also multiple stream of income. Because at that time you have worked, you've gained some experience. You are a little bit comfortable, you are confident, then you can say, okay, how do I make use of my time that I can begin to see how I can earn extra?
Okay. You know, life can be unfair sometimes, as they say, and some people are dealt, you know, very harsh hands in that sense. Someone, as you've said, has created that emergency fund and is looking to now probably invest or channel it into other businesses. Unfortunately, as they say, life happens. Probably one health crisis or what have you has to dip his or her hand into that emergency fund and even spend more than what is there. Again, for people like that, we can't dispute the fact that there are people like that within the society who are struggling to get back, you know, on their feet. How then do they key into all of these retirement plans when they're even probably in debt from, you know, one health crisis they've just sorted out and they're trying to get back to their feet?
Yes, like we always say, if you stand in the bus stop, one bus come and you can't enter, the bus goes, another bus will come. The mere fact that you have, life happens to you, wipe out all your emergency savings. The skill, attitude at which you were able to gather those savings, you still have it with you. It's a matter of developing a positive mental attitude. And I've seen entrepreneurs who will tell me, if their business collapsed today, just give them a few days. As long as they still have their client list, they will get back to business. And look at people who are not even skilled in finance. Somebody wins a lottery. The next 2-3 a month, he has gone back to his original position. So you can see it's a matter of habit. It is not the amount of money you are paid that matters. How well are you able to manage the little you are paid?
Of course, this will take some level of financial literacy, but I'm interested in knowing the kind of investment to invest in, because there are so many out there, and sometimes you might get swindled if you're not careful. So what are things you need to know? How do you keep an eye out there to know which investment plan to go for?
Yes, that's a very good concern, a big one for that matter for retirees. You know, they always look at, okay, when they pay them lump sum after they are retired, it's a problem. Where do I invest? If I invest in this, won't I be scammed? How am I sure this investment is good? Yes, and that's why during the course of your working life, or as you interact with people as you work, always do the needful, trying to find out. When people tell me they scam them, MMM, and they wipe their accounts, Ponzi scheme, and I ask them, you know, greed. Greed. Look inwards. You will discover that there was an element of greed on your own part. That is why the swindler was able to get you. It's as simple as that. Talk to financial experts. Somebody comes and tells me, there is a scheme, you put in 50,000. 2 days time, they give you 100,000. And I just laugh. And I said, that is already a scam. Because from all my knowledge about investment, I've not seen any investment that within 2 days you will get 100%. The only one who did a research was bread making. You bake a bread, you know, this morning. Of course, you sell it, the money comes. That's for now. So all this financial investment we are seeing, there are certain percentage they will promise you. You yourself, you will know within you that it is not possible. But because of that greed, you will go ahead to invest. And before you know what, of course, and those swindlers are sweet talking. professionals, better than me. So with their tuxedos, shoes, and designer suit, and when they talk to you, you are able to, in fact, you just agree with them. But at the end of the day, you have just succeeded in funding their own lifestyle. So you should come to base, talk to your financial advisor, and that's why, as you have your medical doctor when you are sick, as you go and see your pastor when you have spiritual issue, you should also have a financial advisor that you talk to advise you. Nobody knows everything, so that you don't get yourself involved in schemes and investment products that are not real. So those are the ways you begin to know the investment. But I will advise comfortably. It is not 100% proof, risk proof. You can invest in the stock markets where you see the companies. Seplat is there for the oil sector. Zenith is there in the banking sector. GTCO, Bua Cement, Dangote Cement.
Yeah.
You know, they are all there. You have seen how they've been performing. The companies are there. The companies are not going to.
Of course, you also need to consult.
Of course, you still need to consult. Yes, you need to talk to your stockbroker to know whether the risks involved in investing in the stock markets. I always tell investors, you want to invest, can you afford these risks? Because investing in the stock market is not a guarantee. The company can operate and they don't make profits, and they will not pay you anything. And that's why even your PFAs, your money you contribute for your retirement savings account, the government gives them guidelines as to where and where they should invest.
All right, we have to wrap it up here. We know there's still so much in your jacket to give us this morning, but we'll just leave it there. Thank you so much for your time.
And then one last word I always say.
Okay, in 20 seconds.
Yes, don't see your retirement as end of life. Get close to your spouse, because that is the time you can discover yourself and improve on your love life with your spouse. Thank you.
Interesting. Thank you so much for your time. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
All right, that's about it. We've been talking about investment plan and retirement plan with Charles Fakroha, a business expert. We'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll take more topical issues. Please stay with us.